Good morning or afternoon. Today we are looking at number 122, Reuben and Rachel, the Round, in book number 1. This is a song that was written in 1871 that eventually became associated with children's music, or like a children's song, kind of like the Itsy Bitsy Spider or Old MacDonald Had a Farm. But this one is obviously less prominent than those. Reuben and Rachel is around in this book, but there are actually two separate parts of it. It's sung by a man and by a woman, and it is kind of a man and a woman singing alternately, joking about how each one of them is tired of the opposite sex, and they should all be sent across the sea. And then the song actually swerves and it ends with Reuben proposing marriage to Rachel. So it's got kind of a happy ending there. Also, a Reuben and a Rachel have culinary implications there. A Reuben is a delicious sandwich. It is a sandwich that is made on rye bread, and it has corned beef and Swiss Thousand Island dressing and sauerkraut. Delicious. And the Rachel sandwich, which is a play on that, is basically the same thing, but it's got turkey, or sometimes pastrami, but usually turkey. So they're both delicious. I would say if you have both of them in front of you and you have your choice, go with the Reuben because I really like corned beef. If you're a vegetarian, you do have options here. I saw several recipes for Reubens for vegetarians that were essentially the Reuben, but without the corned beef or without the turkey, which kind of sounds a little strange to me because it's just sauerkraut, basically a sauerkraut sandwich, which actually, now that I say that out loud, that sounds pretty good. But I saw another recipe that was made with roasted beets. That's not pickled beets, but roasted beets. So food for thought. Man, I'm hungry. But anyway, getting into the actual song itself, it does say at the beginning, vivace. Vivace means very fast. So that's going to be somewhere around the neighborhood of 160 beats per minute. Maybe a little slower than that as you're starting. And then it is in 2/4 time signature, so 2 beats per measure, and the quarter note gets the beat. The whole thing is the same dynamic level, so make sure that you're playing with a good sound. And honestly, when you've only got one dynamic level throughout the entire piece, it kind of leaves everything up in the air because dynamics are relative and there's nothing to really compare it to. So forte is going to be basically whatever volume you decide to play this. Now looking through this, it doesn't look too complicated. Just make sure that you're ready for these jumps here. For some of us, those jumps are easier than others, and then it ends and it does have a repeat sign back to the beginning. Looking at the percussion part, this is actually pretty fun unless you play the bass drum. If you play the bass drum and you like to play quarter notes, this is your tune. If you play the snare drum on this one, in measure number 2 and measure number 4, you've got some upbeats. Emphasis of an upbeat is called syncopation. So you have some syncopation there. Here you've got 4/16 notes and then 2 quarter notes, making sure to accent the first one. And then right here, you've got a great place where you can actually use some rudiments in real life. So this would be a measure of flam taps followed by another measure of flam taps. Of course, if you really wanted to, you could play that right flam left or some other weird thing. But if you just play right flam right, or left flam left, that's going to make your life a lot easier there. So play those two measures as flam taps. That's really it for this tune. It should be pretty simple as long as you start slowly. So have fun and go have a delicious Reuben or a delicious Rachel.